We found a little car shop Alameda in San Francisco. It's my first choice here. Really nice 71 GTX. Green on green, I'm a big green fan.
That's the steering wheel my Roadrunner had when I got it.
Yeah. When I get that $15,000 car, I want that steering wheel back.
It's got a factory tough wheel.
Really?
Pro, yeah.
I'll keep that for something else.
Okay.
That's
Give us a first gear or third gear demonstration for the camera.
The last stretch of highway to Windover was Utah State Route 30, and we don't know how we did it, but somehow we saw a sign saying service station 100 miles, something like that, and we thought, oh, we've got plenty of fuel, won't have to worry. But we somehow never came across a service station on this road, and I tell you, the next day we were going Highway 50, which was supposed to be the loneliest highway, but I reckon this State Route 30 was worse. We didn't cover a single car the whole time, and we just kept driving and driving and driving. Then it got dark and it was freezing outside. It was below freezing, and I was getting a little bit worried about the temperature outside, and the fuel gauge was going down, so I lowered the speed, and this road just went on and on and on. We'd also, I think we had patches of internet that dropped in and out, so we couldn't see what was coming up. We went through quite a few towns that were all shut. There was no service stations, and the fuel gauge went down to empty, and we still had a long way to go from what we could tell from the signs. We knew we had 5 gallons of fuel in the boot, that was all. But all the way I've said through this whole video is that this car wanted to do the trip. It just wanted to get there. So we kept driving and driving and driving. The car was on empty for I don't know how long. And we finally pulled into Wendover about, seemed like hours later, it was probably an hour. Pulled into the service station to fill the car up, and I took a photo of the Bowser. You can see the car officially on paper is supposed to take 19 gallons, and if you look at the Bowser it says 22 gallons, so I don't know how that works. But it made it, so we actually drove in on fumes, but we made it. We couldn't believe it. What a night.
Driving across the road that enters the Bonneville Speedway. These are the salt flats, Bonneville salt flats. Here they're slightly damp. We're mildly worried about getting stuck in the mud, even though we are stuck in the muds. The sign said that 3 miles from the sign it's safe to drive, and that's about 2 miles ahead, so we're going to try it. Right, Brian?
Right. Now that for a view, salt flats on either side, and a road to nowhere.
And unfortunately, the salt flats are flooded. If you had a 4x4 with 18-inch wide knobby tires, you're not going out there. But we may find one dry spot.
We're pretty determined to go for a spin on the salt flats, at least a little bit. Unfortunately, it was a little bit damp. We found a pretty good stretch where we could sort of stretch it out a bit, but I tell you what, it was the worst thing I ever did. As soon as I got up to speed, it spun the wheels, and man, did it get some salt stuck up under the car. I'd never experienced it, and if I knew what I knew now, I would never have done it, because I spent ages and lots of coin underneath the car blasting at all the salt that was stuck up in every little nook and cranny, and I was worried about the car for its future. So believe me, I spent ages and ages getting under there, washing out every little spot. Then I'd check it and look at it again, and then I'd wash it some more. So it was probably by the time I drove out of there, it was cleaner than it was before I went in. But yeah, certainly made a mess, I can tell you. But it was fun, and I can say I went for a spin on the Bonneville salt flat, so that's something.
Second largest open pit in Nevada, but it's still pretty damn big. It's owned by a Polish company. Yeah, here's the sign. But it's huge. I don't know where you turn in to get to the top. Robinson Mine. We're near Ely, or they pronounce it Ely, Nevada. Just off of US 50, which is called the loneliest highway in America. That's true either. I don't know, maybe we should have gone that way. I don't know. I'm trying to get to the rim where we can look down.
Highway 50, loneliest highway in America.
So they say.
So they say.
I'll tell you that. Whatever that route was in Utah last night, I think that was even lonelier. Of course, who knows what this is like later.
Seen a few cars this way.
Yeah. There was really not a whole lot of service stations. Right down here, the Moses is circling within an hour.
Yeah. Just the buzzards.
Yeah.
On the way to Ely, we used to take a few little back roads here and there and spotted this 71 Charger, actually an original Super B. Pretty cool, 383. Actually tried to find the owner, did a little bit of investigating, but unfortunately came up short, never got anywhere, and we had to move on. So it was a good day to see. I would have bought that at the right price. There's a local who was helping us with some directions. He's fairly interesting, a bit of a chat to him about some of the engineering in the area. And then some local cars. There was quite a few old cars also down in that area in Ely. And then we went on to this train museum, which was absolutely fantastic. We were there for probably a couple of hours and could have been there a lot longer. You had free reign. You could walk around the whole place. You could get in any of the trains. You can go in, sit down in the driver's seat if you wanted to. And then they had a full machine shop. And this is actually a running train restoration museum, if you like. So they had fellas working there. And a lot of the old original machinery was fantastic to see, all made in USA. You just don't see that stuff anymore. Look at that Westinghouse, that's so cool. And some of the tools, because of my background as a fitter, it was good to see all that stuff. There's a big valve, snowblower. It just had a bit of everything. As I said, we had such a good time there, a couple of hours. Look at that. Where do you see stuff like that anymore? You don't. It's so cool. Felt right at home in the old workshop around the engineering equipment. It was pretty cool. Takes it back to my younger days. Had a bit of a chat with some of the local workers who are mostly volunteers. There's a fellow there. Had a great time. I'd recommend.
We're on Route 50, just west of Lake Tahoe, California, and it's a beautiful winding mountain road. I'm going to guess it was built in the 1930s, right after trying to get us out of the Depression. The government had starts from right on the outskirts of New York City and ends in San Francisco. We're going over this new crazy self-anchored suspension bridge, which is unique in the world. Yes, well, Brian knows I'm a pontist. I'm a connoisseur of bridges. This one was specifically designed to be extremely earthquake resistant, because they get so many earthquakes here.
Last of the big spenders. Put a whole $1 in and then walked away.
GoPro, stop recording.
Okay, we're just heading through San Francisco city centre, trying to get to the shipper to drop the car off. I'm following Rick, that's the white car in front. And this is some midday traffic in San Francisco. 5 lanes wide, and this has just been idling for the last 45 minutes. It's like a 10-minute drive. Where's that coming from? 10-minute drive that takes half an hour. It's an hour, I should say.
Classic car shippers in Richmond, California, waiting for Brian. There's 68, 69 Charger here already. I'm in this rental car. Brian is late as usual. He called me on the phone a few minutes ago, so I do expect him here fairly soon. Anxiously awaiting his arrival so I can get out of here and take a shower, which is sorely needed. Ah, look at that, here he comes. Holy cow, how's that for timing? Wow. This is the beast. We drove in from New York City to just north of San Francisco, California. I'm actually gonna miss this thing. All right, we'll see you guys in Melbourne. Wait, let's see if we get a few words of wisdom out of Brian. So Brian, what was it like driving this thing coast to coast?
Amazing.
It really was, wasn't it? And it never missed a beat.
I think we can safely give ourselves a pat in the back.
That's right. And Mopar or no car?
How's that? Put a car together that short time and drive it.
3 weeks and drive it 4,000 miles, and it uses 2 quarts of oil and gets averages 16, 17 miles a gallon.
Just check under the hood each day and that's it.
It's amazing.
Do anything at all.
All right, we'll see you guys in Melbourne.
Yeah. Okay, we found a little car shop, Alameda in San Francisco. It's my first choice here. Really nice 71 GTX. Green on green, I'm a big green fan.
That's the steering wheel my Roadrunner had when I got it.
Yeah. When I get that $15,000 car, I want that steering wheel back.
It's got a factory tough wheel.
Really?
Pro, yeah.
I'll keep that for something else.
Oh.
That's lovely. I like that. Bottle if you want.
No, I'm okay.
Right. Is it there before?
Not
the roof.
sure. I don't remember seeing it. Still in Alameda, California, near Frisco, a little island in the bay. A nice cruise car show. I think it goes down 4 blocks of the main street. And a lot less weirdos here than in Frisco. Or maybe because it's in American cars. And right out of
Cute little parrot.
That's nice. You have all those birds. Are they all foster? Like, I mean, do you to get them all from?
So I have my old guy.
San Francisco Bay.
So it's going over the San Francisco Bay, isn't it? Really, just another part of it, like south.
Well, we're going west of the San Francisco side.
Right. It's like you're driving on the water, almost.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Look how far around it
10
is.
miles long.
Yeah.
It's almost like New Orleans, like Pontchartrain.
Like a highway. Look, I'm barely seeing it. It looks like, with the smog, it looks like just the clouds.
I don't think it's really smog.
Really? What is it then?
I think it's just humidity and moisture.
I think it's
I
smog.
think the air is all cleaned up there.
Well, I think I'm in LA.
Oh, look, there's San Francisco way over there.
Yeah.
Even LA, they got rid of all the smog. The air in American cities is some of the cleanest in the world now.
Didn't sound like I was there the other week.
Because no diesels. European idiots got suckered into so-called clean diesels, which to me was an oxymoron. I guess I was proven right. Clean diesel, yeah. Black smoke, but clean diesel. Right. Can you give me that again? Quick video of the cable car power plant. You can see the sheaves, they go down to where we just were and then radiate out throughout the city. And here's the machine shop, but he no doubt makes new parts as needed because nobody else is making new parts for him, that's for sure. Technology is from, what we say, 1880, something like that. Yeah. So what do you think of it, Brian?
Amazing.
It's pretty cool. I'm loving it. Oh yeah, giant oil cups. Right. Well, no, those are just bearings, I think. I don't think those are the motors, right? I think the motor might be there. So it says
That one's driven, this one's trailing, I guess.
Well, what I think, it could be wrong, I think there's the motor, there's the shaft, there's some gears in there. Oh yeah, not all gears,
Yeah.
and that turns this sheave, and this is just an idler, I think.
Yeah.
But look at that shaft, what would you say, that's 18-inch diameter?
Cable goes right around that one, the main one. Loops around and goes out. This one it just goes down the back.
Oh yeah, right.
So it comes underneath, goes around and out.
Yep.
It must cross over.
Alright, we'll see you later. Soon I gotta take Brian to the airport. So, we're out of here.
Thanks for coming along on this big journey. Of course, this is only the first half. The Roadrunner's heading back to Australia, and I have got a whole other half of the restoration to be done back home. Of course, it won't be done as much of a rush as this. Also have to have a big thanks to my mate Rick. Of course, couldn't have done it without him. He was so gracious and so helpful, and gave me so much of his time, and had a great time travelling with him. It was really good fun. We had a laugh the whole way and talked non-stop like a pair of magpies. But also couldn't have done it without all the sponsors, of course, we had helping us along the way. Mopar Action magazine, AMD, SST Silver Sport, Car Tool, Year One. Of course, Pat and John have bought the car off, Rock Auto, and XV Engineering for the seatbelts, and of course Giraffe and ultimately my family, because without them putting up with me, I couldn't do any of this. So it's been a really fantastic journey, and thanks for all you watchers, and believe it or not, our subscribers have just gone over 600, which is fantastic. We can't believe that many people want to watch us, so we think that's great, and that inspires us to do more. So thanks again for watching, and keep your eye out for some more. We've got a few more videos coming up for the Sport Fury GT. I've been chipping away at that in between things, so look out for those. And we've got more adventures to come. I'm doing more trips to America, so there'll be plenty more to come in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.